Good day everyone, it's Max and welcome to another Land of the Lost tutorial. And today what we're going to be learning is how to make portals really close to each other using mathematics. So in this particular case, this is a brand new flat world, and as it turned out, when I spawned right beside this village. Pretty crazy. And I see we have a few farm animals around, but they're we can talk about them all we want to some other time. Let's build a portal. Alright. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So before we light this portal, we want to get an exact location of it. So I'm standing here on the block and I'm going to do an F3. And sure enough, the location of this portal is 1006 minus 333. Well, isn't that just an interesting set of numbers? Now, we need those numbers because basically we need to do some math with those numbers later. So we'll take down x is 1006, y is 5, though you don't really need the y, and z is minus 333. All right, let's light this portal and see what happens. Yeah, all right. Okay, so in this, sweet, looks like I'm right in a dungeon zone. Oh man, I couldn't have planned that better. All right, so in this particular case, let's say uh, we would like to have two portals that are relatively close together. Now, the mathematics in portals on the surface versus here in the Nether is an 8-to-1 ratio. In other words, you've got to know that for every one block you walk down here, you're actually walking 8 blocks on the surface. That's the first thing to note. Second thing to note is, of course, everything is done in 16 block chunks, which means down here, 16 blocks, and you take that and you divide that, multiply that by 8, I believe is 100 or 99, 6 eighths is 48. Yeah, it's 128 blocks. I had to do that quick math. So in this particular case, down here, we have to have at least 16 blocks away. There's no way to get around that. In fact, to be safe, your closest portal to this one should be 20 blocks. That way, if this portal is straddling any other 16 block zone, the extra 4 blocks that it gives you is kind of like a protective barrier. So what I'm going to do is, this is actually pretty scary. Wow. I wonder, like, can I cut right through that or what? I'm just being curious now. Cool. I mean, that is totally wicked. Look at the size of this thing. I never get so lucky. Back to the tutorial. All right, let's take a walk. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. Okay, now in here what we can do is we can actually build our new portal. And of course, we've got to make sure we have enough room to be able to get in and out of here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that all the way. 3, 4, and then 2 across the top. All right, so now before we start this one up, let's go back out here and actually check our math. All right. Poof. Just turn that off for a second. If we do an F3 right here on this block, okay, I have 117 minus 49. All right. Now, just so as my poor head doesn't hurt a little bit too much, 117 times 8 when you're in the Nether equals 936. Now, that's a concern because on the surface, this portal is located at 1006. Okay? And because it's located at that location on the surface, when we go to turn on this second portal, it's definitely going to conflict. It's just way off. It's off by too much. All right. But let's check that second number. Minus 49 times 8 is 392. Once again, it's off by a heaping amount. So we need to write these numbers down so as we can take them back to the surface and fix our portal up there. Now there's one of two things we can do. One, we can move the portal on the surface to match the 117 or minus 49 coordinates up there. Or we move this portal to where it's supposed to be. Now, let's actually do the math on where it's supposed to be. So in this particular case, that would be 1006 divided by 8, which is actually 125.75. So you could probably get away with 126 if you needed to. At the same time, minus 333 divided by 8 is 41 minus 41.6. So you could do minus 41 or minus 42. As you can see, moving portals down here is probably a lot easier, but you may not get the choice. All right, simply because sometimes you can't move a portal down here. Lava, things like that. So let's actually move this portal here to the new location. So in this particular case, we're actually going to go to 125. Alright, so here's 125 here. And we will do that. Now, the new location, we were at minus 49. We need to be at minus 41. And already I can see where the problem here is going. Alright. Something tells me this portal was going to try and form inside of a building or something. So here we are at minus 41, 125. So this really is where this block needs to go. Now, I could go out on the surface and climb up this mountain to see if there was a place to put this. All right. It's not that I have to build it in this mountain. I'm only doing this in the mountain because it just keeps me nice and level. All right. And we'll start that puppy up. Boom. And if I jump in here, this should now take me back to the portal on the surface. Perfectly. Like so. Now, let's do this in opposite. So, we already have a portal built down below. I gotta be able to get out of here. Here we go. Wrong side. Here we go. Alright, we already have a portal built over here, so I will double check my numbers. These numbers are 93 minus 49. So, on the surface, 93 times 8 would be 744 for the x. And in this particular case, minus 49 times 8 is minus 392. Now, let's go up top and build the other portal up there to match. Okay, and before we do, we're actually going to light this portal up, because if you go to use it and this portal isn't lit up, it will make another portal. In fact, even worse, what it will probably do is connect to that single portal we already have. And just to make this a little easier on myself, I'm going to move a few more blocks here. And I think in the back I'll put a little glowstone, just so as I can see what I'm doing. Sometimes you come through and you don't know which way you've come through. The glowstone will help. Alright, so now we got to go to 744. Which way is that? Definitely this way. 744, 392 minus 392. Let's do that first. Alright, there's the 392 bit. Now, let's make a run for the 744. So as you can see, we're covering some distance. But really, though, it's only, what, 300 blocks on the surface? As it turns out, I might end up actually in a second town. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. So, if I want to travel between two towns, I'll just make two portals. That's exactly where this is going to end up, too. By the time we get to 744, it's probably going to be like right in the middle of this town. 60. 50. Look at this. Right here is where the portal's going to go. That's cool. Alright, so now we can construct our second portal. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And a couple of joins. There we go. And just so as we can see what's going on with this one. Ugh, gee, my bad jumping skills. Okay. There, we'll even put like something like that. Make it look cool. So now we're going to light this one, go in, which should take us now to our new portal, and then we'll use the old portal to go back to the other village. And presto magico, look at that! Worked perfectly. Now I can just run over here, what? 20, 30 steps, not a big deal, right? Jump back in this portal. Oop, jumped right through the portal. And I'm back in the other town. Look at that, you can't even see the two towns. Yet I can now use these two portals, which really, on the surface, are about 300 blocks. But in here, we're really close. So just remember a couple of things. One, everything in the Nether is divided by 8. So if you're working your mathematications, oh man, if you're working your multiplications in the Nether, you need to take your surface numbers and divide by 8. If you're taking the numbers from the Nether to the surface, you got to take these numbers to the surface and multiply them by 8. Second, make sure that the coordinates made work exactly. So you notice that down here, I moved this first portal to exactly where it had to be. It doesn't matter if you move the surface portal to match the coordinates down here, or if you move the portal down here to match the surface coordinates, but make sure they're exactly aligned underneath each other. So same here, right? We had to make sure that once we built this portal, the one on the surface was exactly times 8 on both numbers. And sure enough, if I hop in this one, look at that. I'm at the new village. Oh, cool. I didn't realize villagers got posts now. Look at that. That's totally wicked. Anyway, that is a tutorial on how you can have portals really close to each other. Keep in mind, in the Nether, you've got to give yourself at least 16 blocks. Safer if you do 20. And on the surface, you have to give yourself at least 128 blocks. And you should add 16 more to that for 144 because, of course, down in the basement, you've got to be adding blocks as well. So you've got to have them at least 144 apart on the surface, and at least, I would say, 16 in the basement, but go 20 to be safe. With that, this is Max, signing out.